This is Akashvani.
Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.
Let's embark on the scientific adventure together.
Namaskar and welcome to the December edition of Radioscope. Today's episode is a special annual edition of Radioscope in which we will try to talk about various developments that took place in the field of science and technology. Month-wise, we will also take on board all the participating stations of Akashvani that produced various episodes of Radioscope in the year 2025. And I'm very fortunate to have with me Dr. Nakul Parashar, former director Vigyan Prasar. Dr. Nakul, welcome to Radioscope.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Science for the last few decades has made rapid strides and has transformed human life like never before. How about 2025?
It has been a wonderful year and very much like what we have been witnessing for past 2-3 years, there has been a lot that has come up. And in this whole scenario that we see, artificial intelligence has been again at the center of all these activities. And when we say this, it was just not artificial intelligence, but the widening use cases, widening areas of applications have just gone berserk, I would say. And this has affected everybody, whether it is a researcher in a university or whether it's a driver in a bus or whether it's a farmer in the farm. So every area is now gradually getting into the vogue of artificial intelligence.
So the year 2025 belongs to AI.
It belongs to AI and looks like this will go on for years and years to come for next at least 3 to 4 years.
So what were the highlights of month January?
See, every year when we start with January, we start with a lot of promises, we start with a lot of resolutions, we start a lot of things that we'll do this year. You remember last year we struggled, this was 2024, we struggled with semiconductors. We had to wait in line and days together for semiconductors to come, especially when you were trying to buy a new car or something. This year was something that actually changed the whole thing, and everybody thought and planned, and particularly our country and our government was very much gung-ho about getting more and more semiconductors to be done. And in this course, again, we had a new use case of AI coming in. And the entire production, entire 3D printing, all of that stuff was again supported and was pushed by AI and its applications. There were a lot that we can go on and on, but over to you.
January, you said that the highlight was semiconductors. Government of India putting much more efforts in that direction.
That's true.
So that highlighted January for you.
Yeah.
So friends, our January edition was produced by Akashvani Delhi only, and there was a very special interview on the future of biotechnology in India. So here is the excerpt of that interview from Radioscope January edition 2025.
We are privileged to have with us today Dr. Rajesh Sudhir Gokhale, the Secretary, Department of Biotechnology. Sir, can you tell us about the achievements of the Department of Biotechnology since 2014?
Department of Biotechnology, first of all, maybe let me give you a background. It's a rather unique department in Government of India actually. It started in 1987 and not very many countries have this unique department as part of governmental endeavors. In fact, in India was one of the few countries that had it. Since 2014, it's been a transformative time for our department's time. This government has played colossal amount of role in trying to enhance the many facets of Department of Biotechnology actually. Primarily, we are in the business of promoting excellence and innovation-driven discovery research and entrepreneurship in biotechnology and modern biology. And what we really try to do is one of the key aspects is to boost biotech research in the country, to create world-class research labs, facilities, such that they help scientists make breakthroughs in areas like healthcare, agriculture, and environment. And that's been our major achievement. Our labs are state-of-the-art labs.
Welcome back to Radioscope, year-ender December edition of Radioscope. We have with us former director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Nakul Parashar. From January, we move on to February. First, tell us a major development in the month of February in India and then in the world.
So in India, there was the first international AI safety report that was published. The International AI Safety Report, the first of its kind, was released at the fag end of January and the start of February. and assessing the risks of general purpose AI systems and how to manage them. This report informed discussions at International AI Policy Summits and set a global benchmark for AI risk management. So this was one. And this is the same time when ISRO demonstrated space docking technology. So somewhere between this period, which was overlapping January and February, ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, successfully completed in orbit docking of 2 spacecrafts as part of its SpaceX mission. This achievement made India the 4th country to demonstrate space docking and a critical capability for future crewed missions and deeper space exploration.
That's great. You brought in ISRO, and we move on to the February edition of Radioscope, which was produced by Ahmedabad, and we had a discussion with Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Deputy Director, and Dr. Abha Chhabra, scientists both from SAC, ISRO, Ahmedabad.
Formal education in the different branches of science, together referred to as STEM. 11th of February is celebrated as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. How does India fare in this aspect? Joining us today are 2 senior lady scientists from Space Applications Center, ISRO, Ahmedabad, Deputy Director Dr. Rashmi Sharma and Dr. Abha Chhabra, to discuss women and girls in STEM.
Women have made several contributions in organizations like Indian Space Research Organization, Ministry of Earth Sciences, talk about DRDO, ICAR, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, TIFR, many of the CSIR labs. And here I'll take the name of one Dr. Rohini Godbole, who was a very reputed physicist from Indian Institute of Sciences, and whose contribution in high energy physics we all know. Here I would like to highlight the pioneer contribution of one Madam Anna Mani. She was again an Indian physicist and meteorologist who served as the Deputy Director General of India Meteorological Department.
As we both come from ISRO, sky is not the limit. Science teaches us a systematic and empirical approach to understand our world, our surroundings, appreciate our nature and universe. What I feel, science creates a quest for knowledge. We have Indian women which have made remarkable contributions in various fields of science, technology.
Welcome back to Radioscope, and we are having with us former Director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Nakul Parashar, and we were talking about February. In fact, we have to go on to March, but Dr. Parashar wants to highlight something from February.
Right. So while we were talking of AI, there was one more AI model which was called the DeepSeek R1 AI model, which was released during this period. And this was an open source large language model, LLM, with strong performance across reasoning, math, and coding tasks. This was challenging all the proprietary models and marking a key moment in AI democratization.
So you are not going to leave AI, because AI was kind of quite dominant in the year 2025, and I think more to come in the subsequent years as well.
That's right.
And if we move on to March,
since you've been telling me that I've been into AI and AI only, I'll just move gradually towards agricultural sciences and would like to just remind you that the Indian cabinet extended the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and the restructured weather-based crop insurance scheme through this period for the fiscal. An amount of about 824.77 crore fund for the innovation and technology was also created to integrate new technologies like remote sensing for yield estimates and faster claim settlement into these schemes. So technology gradually getting into everywhere, especially into agricultural sciences, and particularly for the Fund of Innovation and Technology, which is called Fiat. So do not confuse with the Fiat that we used to drive.
And as far as Akashvani is concerned, or our magazine Radioscope is concerned, the March edition of Radioscope was produced by Akashvani Chennai. We have International Mathematics Day falling in the month of March. So this particular edition was totally focused on mathematics. I am picking up a few excerpts of the March edition of Radioscope, which was produced by Akashvani Chennai.
Mathematics is often viewed as a complex subject, but it can also be a source of fascination and fun. There are probably many numbers and numerical concepts waiting to be discovered. Let's listen to an interview on the fascinating side of mathematics with Professor Dr. Anup Dikshit from the Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Chennai.
See, mathematics is a subject which is born out of pure human curiosity. Now, in early days, it helped people perform some basic operations such as counting cattle, keeping track of lunar and solar calendars, the barter system, etc. But in general, if you want to describe mathematics, then it follows steps. First is we have certain rules which are also called axioms, and using those rules, there are certain statements that...
Welcome back to the annual 2025 edition of Radioscope, and we have with us former director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Nakul Parashar, who is giving us a flashback on the year 2025 as far as developments in the field of science and technology are concerned. Dr. Parashar, we have completed the first quarter and we are now in the April.
So as we moved from our first quarter and also the ending of the previous financial year, the government was again very much upbeat about putting in a lot of funds into new technologies. And quantum, for that matter, how can we forget that? So this is where the National Quantum Mission accelerated its growth. And fortunately, it coincided with the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, which was being celebrated all over the place. And we saw launch of indigenous quantum computer called Indus 25.
If I understand it right, I think that has put India into a very different league of a few nations who have done a lot of work in the field of quantum science.
Absolutely. You've actually stolen words from my mouth, and I'm so excited to tell you that our Global Innovation Index, we were at 48 last year, and this year we rose to 38th rank.
From 48 to 38.
So 10 steps up.
We move on to April edition of Radioscope, which was produced by Akashvani, Kolkata. They carried a feature on International Day of Human Space Flight, and feature was titled Beyond the Blue and produced by Shamaita Das. Let's have excerpts of that feature, which was part of the Radioscope April edition produced by Akashvani, Kolkata.
Юрий Гагарин стал первым космонавтом планеты, неразрывно связано с именем Королева.
12th April 1961. The world looked up. Prayer on every lip as the countdown at Russia's Baikonur Cosmodrome began. Everyone waited with bated breath. And Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin becomes the first human to break free from gravity's grip aboard Vostok 1. It took him about 108 minutes at an altitude of 327 kilometers.
Welcome back to Radioscope Annual Edition 2025. We are looking back at the year 2025 as if we are traveling in a time capsule. Dr. Nakul, we are in the month of May now.
Oh, yeah. And the Kolkata edition gives me those sweet memories of Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla becoming the first Indian to live and work abroad at the International Space Station, conducting advanced microgravity experiments and operational training under the Axiom Mission 4. The significance, we all know, provides critical human spaceflight experience ahead of India's Gaganyaan mission and elevates India's position in global human space collaboration.
So from Kolkata, we moved on to Panaji for the Radioscope edition of the month May. The May edition was produced by Akashvani in Panaji. Some excerpts from it, an interview with Dr. Murari Tapasvi, the retired scientist from NIO, Goa, on occasion of National Technology Day, which falls on 11th of May. Some excerpts.
Let's discuss the opportunities, challenges and innovations shaping India's AI journey. Fascinating conversation with Dr. Murari Tapasvi.
Well, how has the role of human creativity changed in an era where machines can write, design, and even invent?
AI, no doubt, is doing fantastic job in accuracy as well as speed. No doubt about it. Within seconds, AI can write a story, draw pictures, but that's all using available data on internet.
Even songs.
Even songs.
You can get one.
Yes, even songs. But then what is important to understand is that it will use only what the data is available on internet.
Right.
It won't do anything on its own. It doesn't have originality in thinking. One should be sure that people with creative minds, innovative abilities have no risk of...
Welcome back to the annual edition of Radioscope December 2025, and we have with us former director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Nakul Parashar, reflecting upon the developments in the field of science and technology in the year 2025. We have so far covered up to May, and we are right now in the middle of heat, the June.
See, every year in June 5, we celebrate our World Environment Day, and that is where this year too wasn't very different. So we had a lot of activities that happened during June. There were a lot of discussions, meetings that happened all over the world. We had our representatives, traveling to all these COPE conferences. And in this course, the government also ensured that there were a lot of breakthroughs that happened in medical sciences, particularly in gene editing and cancer research. Custom gene editing platforms and early detection science brought new optimism for pancreatic cancer and disease. And we were not very far away from what was happening in the world, so we caught up with them, and our research in medical science really stood up the need of the time that we were looking at.
Let's move over to the month of July.
So AI mission progress and AI startups expansion was something that caught up with the world, and it continued to scale its AI ecosystem with projects under India AI, advancing trustworthy AI and deep tech deployment. And having said this, the national computation capacity growth was something which was the highlight of the month. And we saw India's increased its AI plans for first dedicated group that was task force was set up in this period. And national AI computing capacity laying foundations for accelerated research and development were the highlights of the month.
For the month of July.
July, that's true.
Our July edition of Radioscope was produced by Akashvani Bengaluru, and the highlight of that particular program was a discussion on a very sensitive topic, Beyond the White Coat, addressing the mental health of women doctors in India. Here are a few excerpts from the July edition of Radioscope produced by Akashvani Bengaluru.
On the occasion of Doctors' Day, we have an interview with young doctors, Dr. Madhuri H.N. Talking to her is Dr. Sanjana Kangal on the topic Beyond the White Coat, addressing the mental health of women doctors in India.
Isn't stress very common when it comes to doctors? I would like to start saying that medicine is a very, very demanding field. While all doctors face stress, I think women doctors carry additional burden. Microaggressions are very subtle, like the patients questioning their expertise or preferring a male doctor. Here, I would like to kind of cite two examples. When I work in the hospital setting, many times I have been addressed as sister. That shows how they undervalue women doctors in the hospital settings. And I have also noticed like how they call sir or doctor to the male doctors. Another example, when I have actually interviewed patient, I have assessed, I have started the treatment. So at the end, they ask, can I see a senior doctor? You can see how women doctors are undervalued and under-recognized at their workplace. These kind of repeated experiences can reduce anyone's confidence and also...
Friends, welcome back to Radioscope Annual Edition, the December edition of Radioscope. We have with us former director Vigyan Prasar, Dr. Nakul Parashar, and we are taking it's very difficult actually to encapsulate the entire year in terms of science and technology, the kind of developments that took place. But yes, we are progressing month-wise, and here is the month of independence, August. Dr. Nakul, what were the highlights of the month of August in the national and international arena?
So August, you just spoke about the white coat and especially with the mental health. I would just like to tell you that there were a lot of conferences that happened around MND. MND stands for motor neuron diseases. But I'm a little forced to take you out of the Indian context into something what was being done internationally, especially with the Majorana 1 and the related advances that happened in the field of quantum computing. Significant process, especially in qubit stability, quantum error correction, industry-scale quantum computing capabilities came, and everybody was now talking about how the use cases of this quantum technology can be won. I'll just cite a very personal example. I had a discussion with the London Stock Exchange group that has huge, humongous data with it. And one of its senior vice presidents that work in this area told me how this new quantum technology is helping them. And very interesting to tell that 80% of the engineers working on this LSEG model on quantum technology comes from India. So it was a great time for us to celebrate about quantum technologies practical applications, because we've been talking about the government's intervention, we've been talking about the funds being put into it, but of course on the other side, the Hyderabad-based news center of the London Stock Exchange Group saw this quantum bit coming into all of this happened in the month of August.
It was fair enough for Delhi to produce the Independence Month episode, which was like contribution of Central English Feature Unit Akashvani Delhi. In the month of August, we have National Space Day. So in that particular edition of Radioscope of the month of August, a message by ISRO Chairman Dr. V. Narayanan about ISRO's present and future perspective in connection with National Space Day was broadcast. Let's hear that.
India is working on the Gaganyaan program to take Indian to space using Indian rocket. We are right now having 55 satellites in the orbit, and we have to increase these numbers to at least 3 times in another 3 to 4 years. We are working towards that. We are working for placing a NSR satellite, NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar satellite, using our GSLV vehicle, and we are working to place technology demonstration satellite using the first rocket rolling out from Indian industry. And Honorable Prime Minister has given a clear vision for us to contribute for placing Chandrayaan 4, Chandrayaan 5, and we are going to build a new infrastructure, and we are going to work on our sending crewed mission to moon based on the direction and guideline from Honorable Prime Minister.
Welcome back to the annual edition of Radioscope. We are now moving on to the month of September. Dr. Nakul, what special scientific advancement was made in the month of September 2025?
Dr. Narayanan said, we just heard him say hear this. The NASA ISRO NISAR satellite being launched was something which was very important. Joint Earth Observation Mission advancing remote sensing for environment and climate monitoring was one of the highlights of it. And this is a time when the national awards for science were announced. The Vigyan Shri and the Vigyan Prasars were announced. So our top scientists who have been working relentlessly for so many years got their due.
And this magazine of ours, the Radioscope, oscillates between the various stations of Akashvani, moves out to that particular station and brings out those nuggets which are kind of deep embedded in some anonymity. But Akashvani and Radioscope reaches out to those stations and bring out those nuggets out for on the national broadcast. In September, we observe World Heart Day. And in that particular episode, Dr. Praveen SV interviewed. Let's hear a few excerpts from that particular interview and save our heart.
Dr. Praveen SV, a renowned interventional cardiologist specialized in internal medicine and cardiology.
The importance of having a good lifestyle is the key to prevention of heart disease. A healthy lifestyle, basically a diet which sticks to more of natural food, less of processed food, and probably an avoidance of ultra-processed food is the key, with a stress on exercise or activity for the general population, coupled with a good quality of sleep, avoidance of risk factors.
Welcome back to the Radioscope annual edition 2025, and we are now in the month of November. Dr. Nakul?
We all started with this year as the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. A global campaign was seen taking its pace, and promotion of advances in awareness in quantum science research applications were noted not only in the country but all over the place. There were conferences, there were deliberations, there were new researches that came up. Astronomers tracked an interstellar comet passing through the solar system, enriching astrophysical research. There were a lot of major physics breakthroughs that were recognized globally. Top physics breakthroughs across the astronomy, antimatter research, and fundamental physics published. October, we all know, is the month when the Nobel Prizes are announced. And this is where we had a number of scientists all over the place who were decorated with the Nobel Prize.
Finally, we reached November, and the November edition of Radioscope was produced by Akashvani Hyderabad. One remarkable part of that particular episode was the remarkable success of ISRO's very heavy satellite launch project Bahubali. It was a contribution of Akashvani Bengaluru for Akashvani Hyderabad.
On November 3rd, 2025, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, once again created history by launching and successfully placing in the orbit the 4,410 kg CMS-03 communication satellite, its heaviest satellite yet. The strength and power of the rocket that helped achieve the seemingly impossible feat can only be imagined. Launch Vehicle Mark 3 LVM-3 rocket, is aptly nicknamed Bahubali. Noteworthy is that both the rocket as well as the satellite are homegrown, proudly made in India. Today, we have with us Dr. Abhay Pashilkar, Director of CSIR NAL, Bengaluru.
We have lifted about 4,400 kgs of payload, what we call. Now, the challenge for space exploration has always been that because of the gravity that we have, we need to carry a lot of fuel to be able to even escape the Earth's atmosphere and largely its gravitational influence. Almost 95% of the weight of that rocket is going to be other things other than the payload. 5% of it is the payload. So you can imagine the overall size and scale of the rockets. We have been hearing so many of those rockets now in the private sector in the US as well. So that's really the reason why having a heavy rocket is really important. And as you can imagine, in future we have dreams of having a space station. So to provide and stock for that space station, to provide people, to provide their food and other needs, one would have to constantly.
Dr. Nakul, welcome again to the present. So we have covered the entire 2025. Is there anything left out that you really want to highlight?
2025 marked a year where policy frameworks like the RDI scheme, cutting research like AI lab automation, quantum education, global recognition, especially innovation ranking that we talked about, national awards that were announced and given, collectively elevated India's science and technology stature. Collaboration across academia, industry, government continues to fuel its path towards the self-reliance and global competitiveness. Having said this, I would again come back to quantum science and technology, which emerged as the defining theme globally. With both policy level recognition and concrete hardware progress was noted. AI-driven science platforms and initiatives were seen reshaping the research workflows and discovery paradigms. Space and Earth observation continued to expand through international collaborations and sophisticated satellite missions. AI has penetrated into every walk of our life. And particularly when we talk of all, we talk about roti, kapra, makan, we talk about the basic amenities. And that's where it is making a major progress, particularly in the healthcare sector. We have seen a lot of developments happening, new use cases coming up, a lot of robotics happening. So the RPA, which was very much talked about 6 years ago, has now taken the center stage. All of these 3D printings and a lot of things are happening. And smallest to smallest exhibition that you go around, you find these things in practical.
In fact, one particular thing that you really missed about AI is that we now have a lot of radio shows around the world, a lot of television anchors are AI anchors. In fact, they are presenting news. So AI has penetrated into every profession. Initially, if we feel threatened by AI taking over, but ultimately it's the human brain which is going to prevail.
Absolutely.
Because AI is collecting all its data from us. It is best the reflection of human genius only.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, it's the human genius which is going to prevail.
Right. I see 2026 as a very promising year, especially in the area of science and technology. How 2024 was something that had fueled our semiconductor requirements. Now this year, we've seen how computing, which has become very fast, much faster than we can think of. On this note, I would wish all our listeners a very happy new year, and also especially to you, a very, very happy new year.
A very happy new year to all our listeners. Thank you so very much, Dr. Nakul Parashar, for being our guest today. Majority of our listeners will be saying that, oh, we missed on this and we missed on that.
Correct.
But that was bound to happen.
Thank you for having me.
Listeners, Year-Ender program is an opportunity to reflect upon the processes and the achievements. We try to refresh your memories also to what all was aired in Radioscope. Every episode of Radioscope of 2025 is available on Akashvani YouTube channel. And those of you who are interested in listening to the entire episodes can search it and revisit them. We wish you all a very happy and prosperous 2026.
Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.
For the Central English Features Unit that came to you from the Delhi station of Akashvani.